All right, in this video, we're going to be talking about the truth about weight loss and how to actually lose weight and do it permanently, which is all about the root cause. What actually makes us gain weight and how do we actually lose it permanently? If you're like a lot of people, it's really hard to lose weight and actually keep it off. And for that matter, lose all the weight that you want, right? So that's what we're going to be addressing in this video is the truth about it. What actually makes us gain weight, what actually helps us lose weight, and we're going to dive into this root cause and what this actually means. Now, this information in this video is going to be super powerful for you. This information is going to give you a new metabolism. This information is going to teach you how to keep the weight off and gain complete freedom over it. You'll never have to gain the weight back ever again. This information is going to reverse aging. I know that's like a weird gimmick thing where like put this moisture on my body and it's going to, make me reverse my aging. But when you understand that aging comes from oxidation in your body, which is like saying rust on a car, the same process happens in our body, which breaks down our body and makes us age faster. This information is going to boost your energy. It's going to make you sleep better. It's going to help you fit into those old clothes and actually allow you to finally accomplish this goal. The goal that you've never been able to accomplish. You've been able to do everything else in your life, but lose all the weight that you want and keep it off. You're going to actually be able to accomplish this goal. You're also going to be able to become the person you want to be and actually align your ambitions with your body. Align your goals and your drive with your body. Now, this information has allowed my clients to lose 20 to 45 pounds in 6 weeks with no exercise, is the average that I see. It's also allowed me to lose 50 pounds and keep it off now for over 6 years. And I've done all of this. I've kept it off with having treats and snacks, multiple times a week often. I travel, I eat out, I don't do any cardio. I don't really enjoy it. Actually, it's not really that great for fat loss or weight maintenance, so I don't do it. I do exercise a couple of days a week, 2 to 4 times usually, only for about 30 to 45 minutes if I can get it in. And I've done all of this with type 1 diabetes, which traditionally makes it sometimes harder to lose weight. Now, this information has helped my clients do amazing things. One of the amazing things that we've been able to do is reverse type 2 diabetes for every client that's had type 2 diabetes on my program. Now, this is not a claim and a guarantee that I can make. I just have to put this disclaimer out there. I'm not treating or diagnosing anything, but every client, which has been I can't even count how many now that have gone through with type 2 diabetes have been able to reverse it and get off their medication completely. This information is also normalized anybody with high blood pressure or cholesterol. Anybody with joint pain or arthritis, it's completely gone or has dramatically decreased on my program using this information. IBS or gut issues, gone or dramatically decreased. Insomnia, same, gone, decreased. Chronic migraines, gone. Dry skin now is glowing. And anxiety and depression I've seen pretty much go away for most people that have it on the program. Low energy and fatigue, they're now thriving. And this is always a fun one. People who are addicted or have cravings for sugar and diet soda, it's broken. Like I just had a lady on my program who's been drinking 40 ounces of diet soda every day for like 20 years, no longer drinking it. Really cool stuff. Again, I'm not diagnosing, I'm not treating any disease or anything like that. I just have seen this with all of my clients that have come through. We've been able to address a lot of these issues. So really powerful information in this video, and it's all about addressing the root cause. What actually makes those things happen? What makes us gain weight? And when we get to the end of this, you're going to go, man, that makes a lot of sense why all those things happen, why you can get rid of those things, why you can lose the weight permanently when you understand the root cause. So let's dive into this. Now, I want to get this out there right now. I just want to put it out there. Calories in versus calories out model is broken. It doesn't work. It is too simplistic and doesn't actually address why our bodies gain weight in the first place. Now, I know that might rub people the wrong way. I have trainers in my program. I've got doctors in my program who've done my program. And initially we're like, no, it's all about calories in, calories out. And there is a component, and we'll talk about that, but there's so many other components to it that actually make you gain weight. And I'll explain this to you. So let's break this down. So most people think of the calories in, calories out model like this. You got a calorie bucket, and as long as it doesn't, fill up too much and overflow, then we're not going to gain weight. So we eat food, and then, we fill up a little bit of those calories, and then we eat some more food, and it fills up with all this food. And as long as it stays under that full mark, we're fine. But as soon as it spills over, we start gaining fat, right? And the more we eat, the more fat we get, and it all gets stored in our midsection, which there's a principle to that for sure. But I generally eat more than most people, as well as my clients, and we're not gaining any fat. And there's a specific process for this. So let's actually break this down, because a lot of times, a lot of people are like, I'm barely eating anything and I'm not losing weight, or I'm gaining weight. Right? And that might be you. You might cut your calories to like 1,000, or you like burn 1,000 calories in the gym and you only eat 1,800 and all this stuff. And you're like, I'm not losing any weight, or I'm actually gaining. And it's super frustrating. And I'm actually going to explain to you why that happens and how to get rid of it, how to actually never have to worry about your weight again. First thing you have to understand is that weight gain is because you're unhealthy. That's really what it comes down to. And you might think, well, no, I'm not unhealthy. I eat salads, I eat all this stuff, but what I mean by that is there's some sort of dysfunction. There's imbalance going on inside the body. When we understand this, you go, oh, this makes a lot of sense. I'm going to break this down for you. So here's why we actually gain weight. Here's what classifies as unhealthy. I'm not going to go through each of these things in great detail, but I'm going to list them here so you get an idea of how, what the root causes are of why we actually gain weight. First is nutritional deficiencies. Second is hormone imbalances. Third is digestive imbalances. Fourth is toxins. Fifth is cellular energy problems, which is your metabolism. And the sixth thing is stress. So all of these things make us gain weight for different reasons. This could be a very long training if I went into each of those things and why it makes us gain weight. But I'm going to go through a general process that happens in our body that's going to help you understand a lot of these issues and why these things make us gain weight. And when you can address these things, you can lose weight and keep it off forever. Now, this sounds really complicated. And it is when you get to like the molecular level and all the biochemistry behind it. But to do it, it's very simple. And I'm going to explain it here in this video. So let's jump in. I want to talk about stress because a lot of things on that list cause stress in the body or are caused by stress. So let's break this down. When your body's stressed, i.e. fight or flight mode, right, it goes into a survival storage mode. And what this does, it slows your metabolism down to keep storing energy to get away from that tiger. It doesn't know how long it's going to take, but it knows it needs it long enough to get away. So that's the first thing. And the second thing it does is it produces stress hormones. And this is where I'm going to focus a lot of our conversation today is on these stress hormones. So let's break down a couple of different reasons why stress hormones make you store fat. And when you can address a lot of these issues, you actually lose weight very quickly and you can keep it off forever. So the first thing that comes into play with stress hormones is cortisol. When your body's stressed, it produces this hormone that keeps your body alive, because what it does is sends blood sugar up and basically gives sugar to the brain so the brain can run away from the tiger. Well, what that does is then says, oh, wait a second, I got to produce insulin so that I don't have high blood sugar for very long. Insulin brings the blood sugar back down, and that's the process and the purpose of insulin. So when this process happens, you got cortisol raising blood sugar and insulin bringing blood sugar down. It's always on kind of this balancing act here with this teeter-totter. And as this happens, your body, does this back and forth and back and forth and back and forth from stress. Your body has a lot of sugar now, all this excess sugar, and your body doesn't know what to do with that. So it takes this sugar and it converts it into what's called abnormal fat. Abnormal fat's all the stuff that sits in your midsection. It's your belly, your butt, and your thighs. And that's one of the ways that stress hormones actually make you gain weight. The second reason why stress hormones come into play is that when your body drops your blood sugar because of the insulin that was produced, that makes you hungry. And that makes you eat, right? And so when you eat, your blood sugar goes back up, right? So say you eat breakfast, drops your blood sugar. So you get hungry at about 10, you eat, your blood sugar goes up, right? So your blood sugar goes up, then you got to have more insulin in your body, which then drops your blood sugar, which then makes you more hungry. Right? So then you eat again, it's 10 o'clock and now it's 12 and you're hungry again, and now it's 3 and you're hungry again, and now it's 5 and it's dinner time, and now it's 7 and you're hungry again, right? And this process happens over and over again because of these hormones going on. And hunger, again, makes you eat. The more you eat, the more energy your body has, and if you have too much energy, insulin stores it as fat. Right? So that's one of the ways that your stress hormones come into play with fat gain. Now, the third reason is when your body produces cortisol, it produces inflammation. So there's this process that's happening where cortisol is producing inflammation in your body, and inflammation causes more cortisol because it causes stress on the body. So there's actually a cycle that begins to happen in your body. Well, this is important to understand if you care anything about your health at all, because inflammation pretty much causes all chronic disease. It's been at the root of it. We've learned now of pretty much everything out there. So it has implications and causations to metabolism damage and cellular energy problems, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, autoimmune disease, fatigue, skin problems, joint pain, and much more. So those things are not good. Nobody wants those, right? And so we ask the question, well, if inflammation causes that, what causes inflammation so we can avoid it? Well, here's the causes, some of the causes of inflammation. Sugar causes inflammation. Refined carbohydrates, which there's a whole big long list of those, anything pretty much processed or refined, any flours or anything like that are going to cause inflammation. Trans fats, which are the bad unhealthy fats pretty much found in every processed food that you eat, causes inflammation. High omega-6 fatty acids from seed oils cause inflammation. So these are oils like soy, corn, canola, safflower, sunflower, cottonseed, and other ones. Artificial sweeteners cause inflammation. Hidden food allergies and sensitivities. So this isn't like, I swell up when you eat a peanut type allergy. This is more subtle. You don't really understand it. Maybe you're eating dairy, you're eating grains, maybe it's a legume or whatever it is. Tomatoes, it's different for everybody, but it causes chronic low-grade inflammation in the body. Toxins cause inflammation in the body, and stress causes inflammation in the body. So when you look at this, you go, oh, and exercise, forgot one. Exercise, either not enough or too much exercise can actually cause inflammation. If you're stressing your body out or overtraining or any of those types of things causes inflammation in the body. So you look at this, go back to this list of all the chronic problems and you go, well, that's the inflammation that's causing those things. Let's avoid the inflammation. But again, stress is one of those things that's causing this inflammation and these stress hormones because of the cortisol. Now, number 4 reason why stress hormones cause belly fat is you've got this cycle, again, of cortisol, which raises blood sugar, and insulin, which drops blood sugar, happening. Now, insulin's an interesting thing. Insulin regulates how the body uses and stores glucose and fat. Right? So the way that it does this is it signals to your body to use the glucose or the sugar inside your blood and bring it in as energy. Right? So it takes it from the bloodstream and puts it into the cells. Now, if you have too much of it, if it already has enough energy, it's going to store it as fat. Okay, so that's where overeating can come into play. Now, this is an interesting thing, though, because high levels of insulin are not good. Normal levels of insulin are great. We need it. It's absolutely necessary for energy, but high levels of insulin are actually really bad. Insulin's a fat storage hormone, so generally the more insulin you have, the more fat you have. It drives more inflammation, which we just learned is very detrimental. It causes oxidative stress. So this is where that aging comes in again. Oxidation is what happens on your car when it rusts. And so if you can get rid of the rust and fix it and repair it and clean it up, what happens? You look younger, right? Or the car looks younger. Same thing happens inside of our body is oxidative stress breaks down our body too quickly at a cellular level even. And the downstream effects of all of this are things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, low HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and poor sex drive, infertility, thickening of blood, increased risk of cancer, Alzheimer's, depression, all those types of things. Now, when you have high levels of insulin, your body says, whoa, I don't want this. Why? Because it's so detrimental, we just learned. It causes tons of stress on the body. So what happens is your body becomes resistant to the insulin. It doesn't want to bring the insulin into the cell anymore because it's toxic. So when your body has insulin resistance, it creates more insulin. Why? Because it can't lower the blood sugar anymore. It's still in the bloodstream. So it says, I have high blood sugar, I need to produce more insulin. And this vicious cycle begins to happen. And then eventually your body actually stops producing insulin altogether. Now you may be thinking, well, I don't have type 2 diabetes, and that's okay. You don't have to have type 2 diabetes to have insulin resistance. Anybody with belly fat and stress may have some insulin resistance happening in their body. About 80% of the United States has insulin resistance now, and a good way to check it is, do you have some belly fat? So that's another process of why stress hormones really come into play to make us gain weight in the first place. Now let's talk about stress really quick. There's 3 different kinds of stress, because you're thinking, well, I don't have a tiger chasing me. But, we got all sorts of other kinds of stress. I want to break down stress in an interesting way that you may have never heard before. Because it's not just, did I have a hard day at work, or did the tiger jump out at me? There's different things going on. Now, emotional stress, most people get, right? That's your job, that's your family, that's your bills and finances, or driving down the freeway, or, life events. This is what causes emotional stress in our life, which makes this process happen. The second type of stress is physical stress. This could be an accident or an injury, of course. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Lack of sleep actually causes stress on your body. Inflammation, as we've learned, causes lots of stress on your body. Food can cause stress. Infection can cause stress. Medications can cause physical stress. So lots of different reasons. Poor posture and exercise, either too much or lack of, can also cause physical stress on your body. Now, third kind of stress is chemical stress. So this is from toxins in our environment, whether that's in our air or water, could be in our food, additives or fertilizers, pesticides, all those different things. Cleaners that you use in your house, on your toilet or whatever it is that you're cleaning your house with, your dishwasher, your dryer and washer that you wash your clothes in, your personal products like hair and soap and makeups and all sorts of stuff, moisturizers, and then medications can all cause chemical stress in the body. So whether that's a tiger, getting hit by a bus, having a stressful day at work, or dealing with your finances, or eating food. Now, I use an example of candy here because it's common, but any food will cause stress, but any of these things will cause stress, and your brain sends the same signals. Right? So you don't have to have a tiger chasing you. You could be eating food, could be cereal, bagels, bread, milk, doesn't matter. Getting hit by a bus or having a stressful day, it's going to have the same impact on your body. So let's bring it all together. Let's say you have a hard day at work, right? So you eat some candy, double stressor, right? So it causes stress on your body, which then produces cortisol. What cortisol does is it, again, spikes your blood sugar. Now, the sugar from the food that you're eating also spikes the blood sugar. Now, what that does is it increases your insulin levels in your body. That brings your blood sugar down, which is good, but having this happen too much makes you hungry, makes you have low energy, which makes you overeat, which then spikes your blood sugar. So now this cycle begins to happen and you got more insulin, blood sugar, hunger, and you tend to overeat. Now, when your body, again, has high blood sugar, high levels of insulin start to happen, and that's what causes inflammation, oxidative stress, insulin resistance, all those types of things we talked about, which again causes cortisol. Cortisol causes inflammation, inflammation causes cortisol. So now you can see the whole picture of it all. As you are stressed, regardless of the stressor, it's going to have this entire impact on your body, which then makes your body store fat, right? So this whole process makes your body gain weight, and it's impossible to ever truly lose all the weight that you want and keep it off without addressing this root cause of why we actually gain fat in the first place. So how do you address this? How do you actually resolve this issue so that you can lose the weight that you want and keep it off? Well, you have to address the root cause. You have to address these issues we've talked about so that they can resolve themselves, your body can heal, it can improve, and you can actually lose the fat and keep it off. So in order to do that, your body needs the right tools. Now, not these kind of tools, of course, the right tools to be able to address these issues that we're talking about here. So let's talk about what these tools are, but first let's talk about what they're not. So these tools are not killing yourself in the gym. That's going to actually cause more stress on the body. We've learned that. They're not prepackaged meals or drinking shakes, which, yes, have some fortification of nutrients in them, generally some just synthetic vitamins and minerals, but those can cause stress on the body. And if you really analyze the ingredients and other things in these meals, they're not addressing those other issues and can actually perpetuate those problems. Hence why most people tend to gain the weight back after they stop doing those types of approaches, or they never lose all the weight that they want in the first place. You don't need to be taking 28 different supplements. I say, everybody has a supplement graveyard. That's your cabinet or your basket or whatever that's full of supplements that you have taken at some point. You don't need to, it's not the boot camp or the, next challenge that's going to be the right tool for you to keep off the weight permanently. And it's not a fad diet. So those are not the tools that you need to be doing. So here are the tools. The first thing you need to do is you need to nourish the body. That means you need to give it nutrient-dense foods. These are foods that are full of really high values of nutrients that are available for our bodies to digest. It's referred to as bioavailability. That's going to really nourish the body to help it thrive and feel good and have energy. You also need to balance those blood sugars, right? Get off that hormonal cortisol, insulin, blood sugar roller coaster. You also need to reduce the inflammation in your body. As we've talked about, it's incredibly important. You need to improve the gut function. Now, that's not just to have a nice bowel movement. That's part of it because you have to detox, but you also have to absorb the nutrients that you're actually digesting. So you have to improve the gut function in order for that to happen. You have to detox the body and you have to reboot the metabolism. You have to get that cellular energy working the right way. These things are so critical because if you're not addressing these nutritional deficiencies, or if you're not getting rid of toxins in your body, toxins get stored in fat cells. So if you're not getting rid of them, and they just get back into your bloodstream, your body's going to want to put them back into fat cells. So all of these things have very specific things that go on inside the body that make it so you gain weight or you gain the weight back. So you have to address these things in order to lose the weight permanently and keep it off. And the results, again, going back to our initial page of these results of feeling like we have crazy things happening and these really absurd or really large claims that we make in this video, they're absolutely legitimate claims now that you understand this process of how you can get a new metabolism. Your cellular energy can improve. You can actually know how to keep the metabolism high and gain complete freedom of your weight. Is by never having these issues happen in your body in the first place, you'll never gain the weight back. You can reverse that aging, that oxidative stress. You can boost your energy levels. You can sleep better at night. You can fit into those old clothes because now you've lost the weight. You've finally been able to accomplish this goal by addressing these problems that's been plaguing you for years, and you can actually become the person you want to be. So again, these results are achievable 100% if you address these root cause issues. All right, so here's 5 to-dos that you can do right now to actually start addressing these things. The first thing is, number 1, believe it's possible. I don't care how old you are or what you've done or haven't done, it's absolutely possible to see the results you want. Now, I'm not just talking about settling for 20 pounds you'd be happy with. I'm talking about getting to where you truly want to be, and it's absolutely possible. I have people of all ages, of all walks of life, of all amounts of weight to lose that have been able to see the success that they want and be able to maintain it long term. So believe it's possible. Number 2, stop stressing about it, right? Stress is the issue. So stop worrying about the weight loss and start getting healthy, which is the next thing. You have to focus on health in order for weight loss to happen. Why? Because weight gain comes from being unhealthy. And you can't come at weight loss head on. Meaning you can't just try to lose weight, and you can't just try to, if you're on the scale and it's not less than that day, you got to be really strict. And if you're up that day, you got to starve yourself. Or if you're down that day, you can eat a little bit less. Like all those crazy things we do. Stop focusing on the weight loss and start focusing on health, and you'll actually be able to lose the weight. So that's the third thing you can do. Fourth thing you can do is stop doing all these different things. Stop counting your points or your calories or your macros. Stop doing the chronic cardio, which is what I refer to as just all the cardio we constantly do day in and day out, or all that intense exercise that we feel like we have to do. Stop shaking, as I call it. You got to stop drinking all those shakes and those prepackaged meals and whatever else you're doing that you got to make sure you get that in. It's not working permanently, and you got to stop doing the fad diets. Now, the fifth thing you got to do is you got to find somebody who actually understands this process and can address these root cause problems. Now, some of you have maybe already scheduled a call with me. Great, you've already done number 5. You found that person. Just focus on 1 through 4 now. But if you haven't scheduled a call and you've seen this video from some method other than scheduling a call, go ahead and go to my website and schedule a call with me so that we can actually address these root cause problems so that you can see the results that you want and you can keep them permanently. Now, hopefully this video has been helpful for you guys, that you actually learned something here and that you can actually apply it. Because remember, knowledge is power only if it's applied. And so start taking this knowledge. Don't just, brush this off. Go research it. Go learn more about it if you need to. But knowledge is power if you apply it. So start applying today and schedule an appointment with me so we can actually address these root cause problems. And if you already have, then I will see you on the call.